In Jonathan Glazer's new film in almost a decade, we bear witness to a family going about their day, swimming in the river, living in their house, and playing in their garden. But this family is living on the edge of Auschwitz. Their mundane activities are shadowed by the walls of the barracks. The sunny sky is clouded by smoke from the crematorium, and their idle chit-chat is intertwined with gunshots and the constant low rumble of a massive fire, burning evidence away. The Zone of Interest is based on a novel of the same name by Martin Amis. The film is only loosely based on the novel. Glazer chose to take the real inspiration for the fictional characters, Rudolf Höss and his family, and keep the film focused on the historical reality. In particular, a moment from real life, where Rudolf is being sent away for a promotion, and how this change could impact the family. His wife, Hedwig, doesn't want to uproot their family after building their home together next to the camp. This conflict generates much of the sickening effect of the Zone of Interest. Going into my screening, I was expecting a film about passivity, about the provocative nature of seeing someone ignore something so obviously wrong right in front of them. But it turns out, this film is more about studying people choosing and even demanding to exist in evil. A scene very early in the film shows Hedwig receiving a duffel bag. Inside are a load of baby clothes. She goes through the clothes, looking for a new outfit for her infant, but it suddenly dawns on you where these clothes came from. These are not just people in a specific circumstance. They are active participants of history's greatest atrocity. The inhumanity of the unflinching static camera is paled by the inhumanity of these characters. The Zone of Interest feels almost impossible to categorize. One of the closest examples of its execution I can think of is the Michael Snow experimental film La Region Centrale, a 3-hour film where Snow brought a machine capable of turning 360 degrees on every axis into the Canadian wilderness. Both films place the viewer as some sort of foreign observer, where it takes time to understand your surroundings. While La Region Centrale utilizes the most extreme example of movement, by the end, spinning the camera around at top speed in every direction, almost like the machine has malfunctioned, the Zone of Interest showcases the most extreme restraint. We witness everything in mostly static shots with wide lenses. The camera is framed to create perspective lines that draw our eyes to the edges of the horror just outside the walls of the house. The effect is simultaneously unnerving and fascinating. Many of these shots are dirty, meaning there are objects like tree branches, fences, or part of a wall in the way of the shot, like a haphazard security camera placed quickly while the family was out for a swim day. This adds to the observational effect and creates a sinking feeling that terrifies you of becoming too much of an interested viewer, like one of the Höss children taking a look out the window after hearing some gunshots and then going back to playing, speaking to themselves as if they are processing something traumatic. Glazer describes the Zone of Interest as 2 films, the one you see and the one you hear. The film has the best audio landscape this year. You can divide it into 3 different layers. The first is what you see in front of you, the most subjective and specific, typically 1 or 2 characters having a discussion or performing a task. The second layer is the audio of what is happening inside of the house or backyard, other characters wandering around and interacting with the space. A baby is usually crying somewhere, most likely due to the third layer, which is what is occurring outside of the parameters of the house and inside the camp. The crematorium rages on in a low droll. A train whistle signifies more prisoners incoming, and we hear a variety of other atrocities just outside of view. The audio is layered so that one does not receive more importance than the others, and the sounds of the outermost layer seeps into every facet of the other 2. The effect is a horror that is pressing but not unbearable. What provokes the audience the most is the quiet participation of the characters. Mika Levi has solidified themselves as one of the best composers working today. The music situates the audience in the first minutes. The deep, pulsing, and droning score feels like it's taking us back in time and landing us in the middle of the Höss household. This aspect of the film also conjures up thoughts of La Region Centrale. Michael Snow recorded the internal sounds of the machine, pulses with varying degrees of pitch that would change or mingle as the machine changes direction or speed. Any good film score is used sparingly, and when it reappears, we welcome it. Jonathan Glazer resists showcasing the extreme elements of the Holocaust. We never see the workings inside the camp, The prisoner is only seen once, rustling through tall grass. Glazer is working within the same parameters of films like Son of Saul, but the last thing he wants the audience to do is cry. Crying is a release of emotions, and typically results in the person feeling better. This film wants to keep the feelings inside its audience. The zone of interest is affecting, but in a way where you are driven to examine the uncomfortable subject matter, to think deeper about it than you've ever had to before.